we organized ourselves a group which came to be later on known as Azad Gomantak Dal, a revolutionary group. At that time, only Bank Ultramarine could operate here. No other banks were permitted. And the practice was they used to bring the cash and whatever the checks collected in Mapsa to Panjim every evening when the bank was closed. So we intercepted the bus. Whatever that we could remove, we removed from those bankers and came. For our misfortune, somebody had identified us. So as we were proceeding, police were watching us. On the way, they closed in. And so I had no alternative, and the other one, so I was arrested. So they sent us to Rejma. But all the time I was thinking of escape. There are two cells. One is that one and this one another. I was put there for quite long in this cell. The window was hardly about 9 inches with also grade. No other for ventilation. Now inside I see it has been plastered. It was not plastered, it was crude. And from the top some water was leaking down. So all the time the ground and all this used to remain damp and rather wetty. So in that circumstances, and nobody could speak to me. That way I was taken only once in the day and once in the evening, and whatever that urine and other thing collected, I had myself to throw out. So I and that young Navy man, I said, let us escape. So he was prepared. And then we both joined, we winked eye. So it's to mean that he is also ready. And I said, I am also ready. So we saw that daily African soldiers used to escort the prisoner with the basket of the all that rubbish collected, and from that top it was being thrown out. And we came here, I and he. I chose this one and then he chose that one. And as we were trying to throw, we threw the tin with the garbage and jumped down. Now I cannot see even that. I cannot also believe myself what I did. But our estimation that we thought it was a nice, must be nice cushion, and we will be landing on the cushion. And we were trying that. You know, if more force is there, we should have on our buttocks, which is natural, this cushion and for us. But the moment we found it, it was so slopey, so it rolled down. When we saw those soldiers there, then we chose this route to cemetery down to the left side of the fort. And by the time we reached there, cemetery, which you can see from here, they fired on us. So, but what happened when we went that the cemetery, one cemetery is there, while running helter-skelter, they opened on us. They opened fire, 1, 2, 3, 4, that was going on. One. To our bad luck, some African soldiers were taking bath on that fountain. That is to be practiced there, but we had never expected. We thought it will be just we and that the sentries, but it happened different story. So when we started to avoid the anything direct heat, we entered that cemetery, and through this we gone. But because of those opening fire on us, the African soldier who were taking bath here got alerted, and then they chased us, and finally we are able to caught, because we were also very with that impact, not that active, so they could easily overpower us and then started beating, all that kind of thing.
Para abaco Arcinari esteve preso mais 4 anos, aqui no Forte dos Reis Magos, no Forte Aguada, e finalmente conseguiu fugir quando estava hospitalizado no Old Medical College. Foi mais tarde conselheiro do exército indiano, acompanhou as tropas no dia da conquista de Goa, no dia da libertação, no dia 18 de dezembro de 1961, e é essa história que fica por contar. Procurámos ouvir os relatos do que foi meio século de luta pela independência de Goa, através de quem a viveu, de quem escreveu sobre ela e através da voz da rádio pirata, que fez história ao contar diariamente o que era a libertação de Goa. No próximo programa vamos debruçar-nos sobre o dia 18 de dezembro de 1961, de modo que espero que daqui a 15 dias esteja connosco no próximo Contacto Goa.
The radio was called the Voice of Freedom, Voz de Liberdade. We were broadcasting in Portuguese and in Konkani. Vaman Sardesai was doing it in Portuguese, and I was doing it in Konkani. For some time we had another gentleman to do it in Portuguese. His name was Nicolau Menezes. He was a very old man, so he could not tolerate the rigors of a forest life, because it was in a forest where there was a complete no communication with anybody. It was only the radio and we. So he could not go through those rigors. Within a few months he could not continue, so we were left, the two of us. What had happened was, since we started, since it was so popular and the people so much wanted to hear more about it, more from it, we continued. And right from 1955, 25th November, that was particularly important to us, because it was the day that Goa was subjugated. We called it Conquista de Goa. So we wanted to have that day, observe that day and commemorate that day as a day of freedom. And we started the radio on that day and naturally ended only on the day of liberation, that is 19 December 1961. So both these dates are very important for the radio. Now we broadcast in Konkani and Portuguese at 7 o'clock in the morning and at 8 o'clock in the evening, regularly every day, in Portuguese and in Konkani. The Portuguese tried to jam this radio because they did not, particularly the Konkani broadcast, because everybody could understand it. But they were not jamming the Portuguese broadcast so much because they themselves wanted to hear and know, and they could understand it. Anyway, that was good for us, because there were many people who knew Portuguese and who would listen to the Portuguese broadcast and then share it with the others. So it didn't matter. But anyway, both the broadcasts were very popular to the end. And I think if I am known today, it's only because of the broadcast. And I like the idea that I am also referred to as the voice of freedom.
Este programa é patrocinado por Centro Cultural Comunicar.